Using loops is cool, I do it and I have nothing against it, but in some cases this might limit a lot our sound design possibilities. And that's why in one of my latest projects I've decided to reconstruct with a software synth a pad sound that I really liked. And in this video I'm gonna show you how I did it. Hey guys, my name is Francesco, I make music as Distilled Noise, and if you're interested in music production, consider subscribing to the channel because this is what we talk about here. Using samples and loops, as I said, comes with limitations, and limitations in a lot of cases are positive because they push your creativity. But there are some cases where the limitations connected to recorded audio can prevent you from using a sound just because it's not 100% how you want it. Imagine, for example, the case where a nice pad is recorded in a bad audio quality, or it has a filter on it that cuts away all the high frequencies so that you can't, for example, modulate the sound with a filter yourself to open it when you want to reach the climax and close it when you want to reduce the energy. In my case, the need for reconstructing a sound wasn't because I wanted more freedom, even though that was a consequence of it, but because I had this project with this nice pad loop that I found and I accidentally closed the project without saving it. I couldn't remember the pad loop name and I couldn't find it anymore. Luckily, I did share a story on my Instagram of the project I was working on, and so I could use that video to reconstruct the sound. This is the story I recorded of the first version of the project. And this is the final result that I got. So the process to get to the final result implied 3 challenges: finding the right sound, replicating the chords, and replicating the filter modulation. Let's start from finding the sound. When it comes to pads, especially for those old school analog and warm pads, my go-to synthesizers are Juno, Jupiter, and Prophet. So I started to look for presets to start from inside the Juno, and I found this preset called Opening Act that sounds like this. It needs some tweaking before sounding as our sound, but it's, you know, it sounds like a pad, so I thought it was good enough to give it a try. So the next thing that I had to do was understanding which scale we were in and what was the root chord. So let's have a listen. There we go. So this is the main chord that we're going to do, which is a D sharp minor. If we listen to the reference closely, we can hear that the chord that is played is not the same on every hit. I mean, the main chord is the same, but there are some variations to the chord. In fact, if we go and check, you can hear pom, pam, pom. There are some notes that are added to the second hit. For now though, let's start from the root chord. So let's write down the root chord sequence and let's try to also understand where are the hits placed. So we have pa 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 pa. So there are 3 main hits. We said it's the D sharp minor. There we go. 1, 2. There we go. Let's start from affecting a little bit the ADSR of the sound. So a bit more release. Let's also try to assign unison to this sound. Ooh, so much warmer. A bit more resonance. Let's try. A little bit of sub, a little bit of, well, this was already in. And also there was the sawtooth wave, which I took away. because this like this da, 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 this harmonic, and I don't want it. What else can we do? Well, let's start now playing with the filter cutoff. So I will put this all the way up and start to add a modulation to the MIDI clip. And now we took it to around 50%. A bit down. Okay. So for sure, if we check the source sound, we can hear two things. The first thing is that there is a higher note on the second stub, but also this could be made through a filter that opens, because if you close it, you don't hear the higher notes well. If you open it, you start hearing them, okay? So I think it's a mix of the two. So we will do something like this. Wow. When this goes up even more, and then this goes down, and then something like this, okay? Let's check how this sounds. All right. And this is the first thing that I think get us closer to the sound. Now let's start to listen to the chord. Now guys, the first method to build a chord when you try to reconstruct it from a loop is to use your ears. So trying to listen again and again to the chord that is playing and see what notes are involved in the creation of that chord. This is the method that I use the most because I'm lucky to have a trained ear, and so I can try to isolate in my head the different frequencies, the different harmonics that I hear, and put down the notes and see if I'm doing it right. For those who don't have a trained ear, there are other methods, like for example using an EQ and isolate the harmonics and see which are the main harmonics of the chord and translate that into note. Another method is by using a plugin called Scaler by Plugin Boutique. That doesn't always work, and I treat these two methods in the full video that I've shared on Patreon. On this video, I will use the first method, so ear method. If you try to do that, you train your ear, and the more you do it, the more confident you will get in reconstructing chords and knowing what chords is playing when you listen to a loop or a song. Now, if you see here, I've already filtered the chords, so I could take out the bass line. This is just the chords basically. So the first one that I hear is like da, da. This one I might already have it, might be the fifth of the chord. Da. Okay, I also have this da, da. Okay, so we'll add this da. Let's take it down a little bit because there we go. Is there this note? Da, 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 da. You can hear that. Da, da, da. And I think da, and this, I don't hear it in the second one. Da, da. Not here, but there we go. This could be not 100% sure, but what I'm sure it's there is this much higher note. Okay, and it's just on the second one for sure. It seems like it is also here, but it might also be part of the delay, because there's a delay on the song. But let's check it out. Yeah, I love this. Let's check it better. Okay, last but not least, we will simply add a delay, very simply set. Let's check this. Okay, I think on the first one, I don't want to hear this higher note. So I'll take this away. Okay, and maybe I would just open a little bit more the filter here. Or close it. Maybe a little bit more release on the sound. And last but not least, I think I want to add this one more here. And I think we have it. Alright guys, so this was my take on reconstructing a pad sound from a loop with a software synth. I would say that the vibes and the feeling that the sound is giving to you is not a lot linked to the source sound you start from, because as far as you're using a pad sound, everything pretty much works. But what really matters is finding the right chords and finding the right filter modulation. That even more than the chords is important. So focus a lot on spending some time on modulating the filter, of course on training your ears so that you can slowly be confident enough to understand what chords you're listening to. I hope this video helped you. If you want to go through 2 more techniques for chord detection, you can see the full video on Patreon. Give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.